Kaiju number 8 is my favorite anime this season, and I wasn't expecting it because I've never seen the manga, didn't know what to expect. The visuals have been exciting. The chemistry amongst characters make me believe that there is so much more development to come, and every major writing decision done so far has been extremely exciting to watch up to this point. My name is Johnny, and let's talk about Kaiju number 8. So let's break down the major points, or some major points, to analyze this almost nostalgic feeling show. But before we do that, please drop a like and subscribe. So if you know me, which you don't because I have 0 subscribers, you know that I'm a sucker for teams. Any well-written team pretty much has my heart off rip. The chemistry in general is like never an easy thing to do in any form of writing, because just in general it's hard to have deep relationships for a lot of people, having deep relationships in general is something very difficult. So when characters are able to bounce off of one another in a dynamic that feels very organic, to get more out of the show, I'm absolutely here for it. The main character, Kafka, is a very nice change of pace from your stereotypical anime. Having an older guy wanting to join the police force of Japan in this setting, he feels that he's too old to do so. Japan needs protection from these monsters, which are called kaiju. I think that's the literal translation for monster. And it's a nice change of pace rather than having a 12-year-old who hasn't even hit puberty yet out here with super attacks, just taking down whoever he wants to because he's that guy at 12. But Kafka acts as a beacon of hope for a lot of older people who are watching the show. Like me, I'm not older as yet. I'm 24, but I'm out here making YouTube videos, and I feel like there's so many other young people all over the place, like TikTok and YouTube and so on and so forth. So it can feel intimidating at times and feel like you're too old. So I can definitely relate, and I know a lot of other people who are not 12-year-olds or 14-year-olds can definitely relate. His personality, though, really sets the tone for the rest of his teammates, as his humility and his willingness to play a support role throughout the show, even with his hidden talents, makes for a theme that is found throughout the rest of his squad mates. No one on the squad will allow themselves to be outdone by their squad mates. They're not out here trying to be second fiddles. They're out here trying to be the best on their teams. But they're very aware that when someone is more suited for a role, someone is more capable in a specific instance, they're more than willing to take a step back and for the benefit of the whole squad. And that is just so beautiful. It is just so awesome to watch and to see. The teamwork and the development that continually happens throughout the show is very comforting. It's very, I love seeing it, both on and off the battlefield, competitions in the sauna, stupid arm wrestling and so on and so forth. Just some very nice teamwork, some cooperation, some bonding. They show solidarity for their coworkers. They're all real ones. They're talented individuals who are determined, ambitious, and hardworking. Another rarity is the strongest person in their verse, the strongest person in the show, who everyone looks up to, is a woman, which obviously it's not necessarily important that she's a woman, but it is a nice change of pace. I like seeing just differences from time to time. It's not something you see in everyday shonen. I personally always love seeing how mangakas portray a super strong lady, such as Mara Leona in Black Clover, or Maka in Soul Eater, and it's really cool. We're still waiting as of right now for deeper character development for sure, and that's a theme that you're going to hear me talk about pretty often when I talk about Kaiju number 8. But in these first 11 episodes, even characters who I thought might have been obnoxious at first seem to mellow out for the most part. We're also seeing people develop different specialties and techniques for using unique weapons, and I'm a huge sucker for unique weapons. The Bleach is my favorite anime after all. But characters in general, pretty fun to watch, very enjoyable. I hope to see further development. That's it for characters. The second point, the story. So what I love about the Kaiju number 8 story is that up to this point it doesn't feel forced. That's one of the best things about it, is that there's not the most depth to it, without a shadow of a doubt. And the fact of the matter is that not every show needs to be, the Marianas Trench. It doesn't need to be Attack on Titan or Full Metal Alchemist, even though these are excellent shows, Full Metal being one of my favorite series ever. The characters aren't super tropey. There is a little bit of tropiness, but they're not super stuck and deep into it, or that's what it seems to me so far. It is by no means revolutionary by any means, but once again, it doesn't need to be. The main character isn't the coldest character on the block, but he's very relatable, and it's super hard not to want to root for him. The story as on a whole has a ton of potential, and that's part of what is the most exciting and the scariest part of the show. There are several things to explore. There's several questions that you can ask. What will be the outcome of Kafka being able to transform into a kaiju? That's a spoiler, by the way, my bad. But you clicked on this video, so where is the source of the kaiju? Why do they attack people? Are the higher ups evil, and to what extent do you have this evil? A pretty common trope these days with evil higher ups, whether Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen, Naruto, a lot of the higher ups are pretty evil. Because, to be fair, in government a lot of times that's the case. Even the fact that the suits that are being worn by the guard members, they're made by kaiju flesh, right? How ethical is this? Will this be addressed? Those questions to me can be the difference between this anime just being a good anime and a certified classic, a banger. And 8 out of 10 versus a 10, like an 8, between an 8 and a 10. And I cannot wait to see what happens next with the story. The last thing that I want to touch on is the visuals and the music. Once again, like, if you're looking for something like Demon Slayer in terms of the visuals, we're not going to find that. If we're looking for something like Bleach or Attack on Titan in terms of the music, like Bleach had bangers for soundtracks, openings, and everything, back to back to back to back soundtracks, back to back to back to back, right? That's not exactly the case, but I do not want to put down Kaiju number 8 in any form or fashion, because thus far there has been several color scheme choices that have carried over from the manga that I absolutely love. The bright turquoise theme found on Kafka's body is so very satisfying. I like blue. I really like blue, and that turquoise color, I don't know what it is, but it feels powerful. This, in combination with the colors that are produced by his attacks, are just very nicely done. The animation that's used in order to portray certain attacks, and sometimes is just really satisfying to watch, very fun to watch. And this can be said for many of the weapons in the show. We see like a outlining of purple, deep dark colors contrasted with some vibrant glow in the dark type colors. I absolutely love these choices. It makes it feel more unique in its color choices, and I hope to continue to see the adventurous usages of these colors, because honestly, it's been sexy, okay? It's been nice. I've absolutely been enjoying it. For the visuals of the opening and the ending, really sets the mood, sets the tone so perfectly. The ominous vibes that's presented in the opening, feeling hopelessness, and the music which is presented with those very CGI creatures, fantastic. Creme de la creme, chef's kiss. I love it. But even more so, the ending song, nobody got you the way I do. Like, I be singing that to my lady all the time. Like, I can't lie to you, fantastic. And the images in the background, which are there to reinforce that camaraderie, that teamwork that's all together, Oh, like, I cannot tell you, these days the anime openings, the endings don't hit the way that they used to. They just don't. It's not the same. I'm sorry. Bluebird from Naruto, like, we used to be having a lot of bangers, but that's a video for another day. But opening, ending, those songs, the color choices, absolutely phenomenal. Overall, the show has a lot of strong points. My biggest issue with it is that it lacks depth. And I don't want to be contradicting myself, because prior I said that not every show needs depth. And I agree, it doesn't need to be groundbreakingly deep, right? However, if you're making a show for adults, then there needs to be some level of thinking going on when you're watching. Or personally, that's how I feel. Just some extent, in order for you to have a meaningful story, right? What questions are you causing your viewer to think about? And it doesn't even need to be extremely philosophical. But for me, I would like to ask questions like, can the show reinforce the bonds that we've seen that are beginning to bud and bloom? Will we get to see the deeper motivations for each character and what makes each one of them unique? We've seen the beginnings of that, but can we have a better understanding, a more developed, well-rounded understanding of these characters? In what ways will the main character grow? Because initially the issue was that he felt that he was too old, right? But he's beginning to get some success. So what is that going to transform into? Are all our problems just going to disappear all of a sudden? Or will we have to like continue to work with them, because none of our weaknesses kind of just disappear, right? You're supposed to continue to work on them. These questions certainly don't need to be answered in 12 episodes. Absolutely not. But it's a lot of core fundamental questions to be addressed. Overall, Kaiju number 8 has a ton of potential. The characters are fun and their teamwork is so satisfying to watch. The story has done a great job of creating anticipation for what may or may not come next. And I love the opening and the ending. I know I said it, but I say it again. Sexy. Yeah, I love the hopelessness of the opening in contrast with the happy, nostalgic feeling of the ending. The show has gotten my attention, and I hope for its success and the success of all those involved in making the anime. Season 1 for a score gets a 7.5 out of 10 for me. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Have a good day.
Got a lot of fake friends chilling in my circle. I don't need them, no, not even a little. 50 caliber love hit you like a missile. Everything is gold, I'ma shine just like a nickel. Driving through the 649.